the season's finally here, and the players hit the field.
Hey, howdy, hi, Braves Country Radio. The Armchair Quarterbacks are back for the Monday edition beginning September 29th. We'll be reacting to the world of football from the weekend and getting you set for the week ahead. We'll also be talking Major League Baseball all October long, switching gears to the MLB free agent trade hot stove season that begins when the World Series comes to its conclusion. It's the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show, Monday mornings, 9 a.m., right here on Braves Country Radio.
The armchair quarterback, he's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head. The wife.
Armchair.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
Why did you get so drunk?
You got drunk. I'm just really exhausted.
What's in that cup?
Rum and Cokes?
Do you have any idea how important this is? We're trying to save the pub cup. Really? This is what you're doing? This is what you're doing?
Chief, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night. Try to take over the world.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Armchair.
YouTube Live?
Radio station.
The radio station you can call your own. Do you know what listeners like about our station?
I like everything. It's always on my radio.
We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Armchair.
Do you think you can get me a tape of the show?
What on earth for?
Well, how often do you get to hear your son on the radio?
I'm on the radio every day.
You're listening to WQVZ, 1700 AM Mission Radio.
For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
No one talks in my meeting. No one. Think you can run this? If you could, then I wouldn't be here. Because I'm sick and tired of our football team getting pushed all over the field. I want precision. This is an institution of learning, ladies and gentlemen. You've tried it your way for years. They've given me less than 1 year to turn this place around. Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire...
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man. Yeah, the armchair quarterback. He's kind of fun and he's kind of fat. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi, and how the hell are you? Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Doug, how are you, my man?
Doing good. Thank you.
Apologize for the man. It's kind of hard to explain if you've never seen what I'm looking at, but the screen that I need to move up and down to hit the different bytes, Doug, we don't need to see up your damn nose. It wouldn't move. So I'm stuck and I was like, what the hell? And I finally had to open up another one on a different computer because it's the application. It's not the computer, but the application would not move. It's stuck. Luckily I was able to figure out how to do it. Man, that was a nightmare because if I didn't do it the way I did it, I was going to have to go in, come back out, restart my whole thing. And that would have taken another 15 minutes. So, all right. What a disaster. How did fantasy football treat you last night, Doug?
Okay, I guess. I mean, I all I had was Buffalo's defense, so
I went up against Josh Allen, and I think I went up against James Cook, but they didn't have enormous games, so I'm all right. I'm okay. It's crazy. I have pretty similar rosters, and I'm 0-2 in 3 leagues and 2-0 in one of the leagues that you and I are in. And then I got a bunch of other leagues that I'm like 1-1. But Dolphins drop another one. They're 0-3. They lose to the Bills 31-21. It's not the massacre most people thought it was going to be. I did hit my survivor, so Buffalo moves on. I move on. And my survivor, I thought that was a good place to pick the survivor because Buffalo's due for a loss because all NFL teams get a loss early in the season. And I wanted to go ahead and get them one more or get them one time before that were to occur. And I just feel like the Dolphins are a mess.
Oh, yeah. The Dolphins are horrid at best. No defense. I mean, offensively, they didn't look bad last night, but still that defense is hard.
Well, really, when it's all said and done, they have no leader. We talked about this on yesterday's show, but have you seen the post-game press conference with freaking McDaniel last night? He didn't look up the whole time. He was staring down. I don't know if he was reading notes. He looked like he was looking at his damn shoes. And the guy's just not a leader. I'm tired of seeing the putts on TV. He's a schmuck. He's a schmo. And I'm just ready for him to go bye-bye. He should not be a head coach in the National Football League. There's nothing about him that screams head coach. I went over that yesterday, so I won't continue to beat that drum, but I don't back down from it either. I just can't believe that anybody would have ever hired this putz to lead their football team, but they have, and here we are. How do you feel about your Raiders?
If we only had an offensive line, I'd feel a lot better about them. They cannot block, and that's just dragging the entire offensively, just dragging them down.
You know who I think the Dolphins are going to hire? I've been giving this a lot of thought because people keep trying to mention him for college coaching. He's coming back, baby. It's going to be John Gruden. John Gruden is not done coaching, and he's not done coaching in the NFL. If you want to turn your franchise around, go get Gruden. That would be my advice to the Miami Dolphins. He would fit it down there perfectly. He would give them energy. Anything about that you don't like?
You're just going to have to pay that man a lot to do it. That's all I've got to say. To get him to come back after all he's been through with the NFL?
I think you get him on a discount the first time because of the way he was shunned. And because the PR aspect of it, I think you'll get him on a discount the first. Say he comes in, he signs a 2 or 3 year deal, very, very reasonable. Now, the second time around, you'll have to pay through the teeth. But if he's performing well, who the hell cares?
Yeah. That's true. I'm just saying from the point of having to pay him is the fact that all he's been through the NFL. Where's his motivation coming from to help the Dolphins, let alone anybody else in the NFL right now?
Well, if you follow, obviously you don't follow him, but if you follow him on social media like I do, he's always hinting at it.
Oh, is he?
And he's become a big star on Barstool. Everybody, his videos go viral. I mean, they're constantly one of the top rated ones on TikTok. Hell, I woke up to Facebook this morning and the first video, whatever they call their video thread, first or second one that I saw was John Gruden telling the story of, I didn't know the story. It's a pretty interesting story. I'm gonna have to try to record it so people can hear it. But the whole thing about his dad firing Perkins or Perkins firing him, and the whole thing that went down with the Vinny Testaverde thing and the Steve Young thing, and why Steve Young got moved out. I would prefer that he stays in media because I think he's very, very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But he has, man, if you listen to him and the way he talks, I don't think he's done. I just don't think he's done. And I think he's likely to make another run as a coach, and he's got such a big media presence, then he'll be able to push that for one more big payday when he steps out of the booth. Steps off the field and back into the booth one day. But honestly, I know he got in trouble with those emails, but it came out that basically the whole thing was a witch hunt. I would prefer that he stays in the media because he's entertaining. I don't give a damn if the Dolphins ever win another football game. I care about the fact that he's entertaining, and someone other than Barstool needs to bring him on to be a part of their Sunday morning pregame show. Because I don't watch any of these pregame shows. I haven't watched them in years. And the number one reason is there's no personalities. We used to do Sunday morning pregame shows. We finally put that to rest a couple of years ago. But I now get up and get ready to do the baseball game early part of the football season. But by October, I'm getting up wanting to watch football and watch football content. And there's just nothing out there. And I'm constantly turning to YouTube channels that are talking about fantasy sports or whatever, because I'll tell you right now, and I'm going to say it with my chest, Field Yates of ESPN that hosts the fantasy football show, he is nauseating. I cannot listen to this jackass. And now he's starting to grow his hair out like he's a wannabe Fabio. And you can tell he's all into himself, right? He's constantly quaffing his hair and stuff like that. And he is just nauseating to listen to. You can tell he is the guy that at the party that thinks he's the most interesting person in the room, right? Mm-hmm. And everything he says, he drags out, and it's just his whole shtick. I might be by myself on this, but I can't stand him. So when I see him on any kind of show, I have to change it immediately, even though some of his co-hosts are decent. And I would listen to them if that son of a bitch would just call out sick one day. Yeah, John, don't be so sure. I know John's scared because he's a Buffalo fan and he doesn't want Gruden to come back to the NFL. He said he's in the middle of so is the defensive coordinator in Minnesota. He currently works in the NFL. One way to get him to drop the damn lawsuit is to give him a job. So there you go. I know it's wishful thinking, and I know John's like, no, Miami's going to be good again. Whoever Miami hires is going to be better than what they have right now.
Yeah.
And whoever they hire is probably going to be better than McDermott. I mean, let's be honest. Okay. Real quick on baseball. I was going to share it on the screen, but the whole thing's locked up. This application we use, StreamYard, is just trash. Do not use it. I can't state that more. But we're kind of locked into it at this point. But they're constantly fiddling with stuff, and every time they fiddle with something, you can't access other things. So I'm telling you right now, if you're ever thinking about doing any of this stuff, do not use StreamYard. It sucks. Baseball real quick. So I'll have to read it to you instead of just show it to you on the damn screen like I wanted to. The Mets right now have a 2-game lead over your Reds and the Diamondbacks and the Giants. Got to cut it there. Nobody has a shot in hell. St. Louis, Miami, you're all cooked, right? You're all cooked.
Yep.
The Braves are I guess they're still technically, mathematically in it, but they're done. The magic number to knock the Braves out is 1. So one team, if the Mets lose one game, win one game, or the Reds win a couple, or the Diamondbacks win a couple, or the Giants win a couple, it's over. So let's put that to rest before any knucklehead Braves fan comes in. What about the Braves' chances? They're only 9 out. They're only 9 games out with 9 games to go. Bye-bye. Of course, they get hot at the worst time. They've won the last 5 games. But what is your feeling? Do the Reds chase down the Mets when we meet up with you next Thursday? Doug's moving to Thursdays with us. When we meet up next Thursday, are you sitting there on their heels or is it over?
I would say the way we're playing right now, when I see next week, we'll be on our heels. It's just way too inconsistent. And now San Francisco has caught up. I thought it was it was a solo run between between us and the Mets. They win a game, they lose a game, they win a game, they lose a game. And they go nowhere fast. They've only caught up a half game since last week up to this point. So
I mean, honestly, I think you can probably put San Francisco to rest. I think you're much more concerned with Arizona. They're the ones that's tied with you now.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco's a game behind, 3 games back overall behind the Mets. That's not the big problem. The big problem is they have a 4-game series at the Dodgers this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, if they get smoking hot next week, and I talked about this weeks ago, I kept pointing to this part of the schedule, that if they could just hold the line, stay there. They host the Cardinals. They host the Rockies next week, 6 games. And if you were in spitting distance, then the Giants have a real chance. But I just don't think they're going to be. Isn't it tonight that's going to be Clayton Kershaw's last game?
Yeah.
So they're probably going to win that one. They lost last night 2-1. What sliver of a chance they had went out the window, I believe, last night. Yeah, in theory, if they could split that series in LA and then win the last 6 at home, there's a chance. But I'm saying that beyond an absolute miracle, they're cooked. Y'all, on the other hand, today, you have a series at home against the Mets. I'm sorry, not the Mets, the Cubs. It'd be beautiful if it was against the Mets. And the rest of the Red schedule, 3 here at home against the Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about this a few weeks ago, but the way it plays out for the Reds next week, 3 games are at home, and that's against the Pirates. You love that. 3 games are on the road. That's at the Brewers. You don't love that, but the Brewers are most likely going to have everything wrapped up by next weekend.
Yeah. But being a rival, maybe they'll want to play spoiler. That's my only worry at this point.
Yeah, I would think that they that's probably fair. I just don't know if they're first of all, if you're the Brewers that last weekend, though you want to get your starters in there, you're not going to let them go very deep.
Right.
So it's one of those games where you're going to have a chance to win it down the stretch. But I guess to get to that point, you're going to have to win a lot of games these next 6 days to make those even count.
Yep. And that's what I'm nervous about, because we've been, like I said, win one, lose one. The others all have to fall apart.
Yeah, and I don't see the Mets, and then we'll jump into the football talk. The Mets, they're sitting pretty, and they did what I didn't think they would do, which was win the series against the Padres. I thought the Padres would go in there and beat them because the Mets have been an absolute disaster. They've been falling apart. They're starting to play okay. I won't say they're playing good, because to play good, you had to have done it for a long period of time. They're at home against the Nationals. And the Braves fans just saw what the Nationals are about. The Nationals are arguably the worst team in baseball. And the Braves went and swept them 4 games. With that being said, the Nationals tend to give the Mets fits.
Yeah.
So They've got Sproat on the mound, the rookie tonight with the Mets. You never know what a rookie's going to do. The Nationals have not announced their starter, but that to me could make the difference in this entire playoff series. If you can somehow get the Nationals to win at least one, and oh baby, if they could win 2 of these games in New York, we're going to have something to talk about next week.
Yeah.
But after that, they go to the Cubs for 3. The Cubs are not going to be mailing it in. Not with 6 games left. You can't rest guys that early on. And then they go to the Marlins. And the Marlins are going to want to play spoiler. So it's not over if you're chasing down the Mets, but you got to play really good baseball. I mean, really good baseball.
Yes, and that's my big nervous worry. They haven't been consistent. They play good when they're good, and when they're bad, they've been bad. I wish they could just get one consistent streak. Then my high hopes get higher.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did the Reds win the season series with the Mets?
Yes, they did do that.
I thought they had the tiebreaker on them. Now, I don't know what happens if they all end up in a 3-way tie and all that kind of crap. We'll go over that next week. I'll have time to look that up because I've been waiting to see teams kind of separate themselves from the pack because it all matters. Because when you get 3 teams tied, they go to different qualifiers, but the difference being is depending on who makes it is how it goes head to head and in the your record within your I keep wanting to say conference, your league in the National League, et cetera, et cetera. All right, we'll move on for that. Let's get into some football talk. Real quick, what is your survivor pick?
I'm taking the Chiefs this week.
Taking the Chiefs.
Time for a bounce back win.
I don't hate that one at all. I mean, if not now, when? If they don't win this week, when are they ever going to win? So you're going to go ahead and take Kansas City just for people who didn't catch the show yesterday. Bobby took Green Bay. I took the Bills. So I can put my feet up the rest of the weekend, not worry about it. The next one on the docket, see, I'm going to have to go over here to get this thing played. I do apologize, but this app sucks. Here we go. It is time for Stupid Underdog.
There's no need to fear.
Stupid
Underdog is here.
Stupid
Underdog.
Stupid Underdog.
All right, Dougie Fresh, who is your Stupid Underdog?
This week I am going to take Illinois to beat Indiana.
Illinois to beat Indiana. Let me see. What did Bobby pick on his Stupid Underdog? It's taken. I thought that sounded familiar. Bobby took Illinois plus 6.5 on the Underdog.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
That's it happens. What is your next pick on the Stupid Underdogs? Now the good news is I have not picked yet because I am leading the charge on this. There's the numbers there for the Stupid Underdog. I'm up by 11.5 points on Doug and Bobby. They're both at -3. They both covered last week. I did not cover, so I fell once again. What is your Stupid Underdog now that I have let you know? Sorry, man. It's been a rough few days. I had some.
You know what? What the heck? I'm going to swing for the fences. I'm going to take Michigan State to beat USC.
Michigan
State's a lot better team than people give them credit for.
You son of a bitch. That was one of the ones I was that's all right. That's why I always have backups because I'm normally picking last. So your Stupid Underdog is going to be Michigan State. And I believe,
that's an 11 p.m. Fox game.
Yeah, man, that is late. Oof. It's up to 18.5 for you.
18.5, yeah.
So big money coming in on Michigan State. Well, that was the first one that I had on the docket, so I will push that one aside. And let me see what the number is now because these lines have moved quite a bit. By the way, Damn, Miami and Florida has jumped to 9.5. It was 7.5 yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Wow. That is, man, that's something. I am going to go to the Big 12, and I just got to find here we go. It is moved once again, so I'll take it. I don't love this game, but I'm still going to bet. That's why we call it stupid underdogs. I'm going to take West Virginia. They've moved up to 14.5. So give me 14.5. West Virginia. And they're at Kansas. And if you remember last week, I took West Virginia. And you were asking me, did it bother me that they just lost to Cupcake City the week before? They're a decent football team. If you're going to give me 14.5 points, I'll take it. Mm. The other one that I kind of had my eye on, I just don't have the guts to do it. And thankfully, none of y'all took the West Virginia game, or I'd have really been pushing in a corner. The one that I was looking at, Southeastern Conference game, and it's moved down. I was going to take South Carolina. Well, move back up. They're a 10.5 point dog. They're at Missouri. And I know they just got ran over by Vanderbilt, but if they've got any kind of backbone, any kind of anything, they're going to show up against Missouri. And I do think Missouri's a good team. But South Carolina should be able to hang with them. I think that is an overreaction to last week. One of the things that I look in the betting world, college and pro, you don't get it as much with baseball or basketball because they're playing every day, so there's not the overreaction. But in football, there's always an overreaction to what happened the week before. If a team blows out a team they shouldn't have blown out, like the way Vanderbilt blew out South Carolina, everybody thinks South Carolina stinks now. But last week, South Carolina was undefeated and a pretty heavy favorite at home against Vanderbilt. Last week, if you would have looked at this game, because I was curious, the look-ahead spot, it was 4.5 points to South Carolina. So I think it swung 6 points. But I feel better about West Virginia, so we'll take the Mountaineers. All right, let's go ahead and get into our NFL football picks as 6-pack to go. Yeah, Bobby's, I guess John's reacting to it. Bobby's survivor pick was Green Bay over Cleveland. Doug took Kansas City, and I took Buffalo. So we just started this 2 weeks ago. When we finally were down to one guy, we'll do it again because I think it's a fun thing to look at. What we may do is we may eliminate some teams, at that point, because we can't be talking week 16 and one of us picking Buffalo, because in the real world, someone would have already used it, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, our 6-pack of picks. So we'll go back and forth on this for folks who have not seen this before. The 6-pack of picks, we'll let Doug start it off. And these we can have mirror. If we both like something, we both like it. It is what it is. What do you got on your first pick on the 6-pack of pick?
My first pick is, and I love this game. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the week. Texas Tech and Utah, 12 noon Fox game. I got Texas Tech. I'm taking Texas Tech plus 3.5.
Texas Tech plus 3.5. I don't hate it. I'm interested to see how good this game is. Braves are playing a weird 1:00 game in Detroit this Saturday, so I won't be able to catch the whole thing. But I'll start watching it in studio and have it on in the background during our ball game. But I'm curious to see how this game finishes. Right. Both teams are undefeated. Both teams are in the top 20, and the over under 56.5. That's a really interesting one because Texas Tech likes to move the ball, and Utah doesn't want anybody to move the ball, including themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be the immovable
The irresistible force meets the immovable object.
Correct. That's yeah. Thanks for cutting me off.
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
It happens quite a bit. But the point being, those two teams, it's, to me, I like where your head's at because it's in Salt Lake City and you're getting the field goal and a half. What it's telling you is that in the real world, if you put this game on a neutral site, Texas Tech and Utah would be a pick 'em. And I think Texas Tech's got the better quarterback play.
Yep.
I'm not taking that game, but I do like the pick. My first pick in the 6-pack of picks, and see if it's probably moved because if the over, no, it's still there. I'm going to take the Florida Gators and Miami Hurricanes to go over the number of 50.5. I just feel like no matter what happens, and I don't know if Florida's going to be able to hang with them or not. Last week, I'd have been dying to get a 9.5 point spread. This week, we're going to find out if the Gators have any fight in them. But if they don't, Mario Cristobal is going to take any chance he can to run the score up on the Gators. And if it's not a blowout, I feel like they're both going to have to score points. So both of them play pretty up-tempo offense. I'll tell you what, Lagaway, he better get his act together. 5 interceptions. 5.
Yeah.
And people are all over Billy Ball, but it's a miracle that they were in shooting distance of him at the end of the game. 5 interceptions. LSU should have blown their doors off.
Yeah, Florida's always got to be grateful for a bad LSU offense, lackluster offense. Yeah, it should have been 52-10, not 20-10.
Yeah, it's not this week, but pay attention to the spread on LSU. I'm telling you right now, they're fool's gold. LSU, they beat a Clemson team that I don't think is that great, and they beat them in a rock fight. They beat a very average Florida team in a rock fight. And you look at what they're going to have up ahead out of them, talking about in the near future. LSU, we know they're going to have the big game against Alabama. But we also know that if you're looking at SEC games going down the stretch, they are going to have some games coming up where you're going to be feeling like that. Why can't I not find their damn schedule? All right. For whatever reason, ESPN forgot that LSU is in the SEC. But anyways, they're going to have games coming up where they are going to be constantly overrated until they finally lose. I finally found LSU's schedule. Here it goes. That is weird. Every single week that I went to on their thing, they didn't even have this weekend's game, which is Southeast Louisiana. That's not what I was talking about. The game I'm looking at, when they go to Ole Miss, when they go to Vanderbilt, when they go to Alabama, they go to Oklahoma, there's still going to be this belief that LSU is better than what they are, and I can't wait to jump on whatever point spread we see. I'll be real interested to see what the Ole Miss game is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's in Ole Miss, and let's say they win that game, Doug. Do you know how overrated they'll be when they run into Vanderbilt in mid-October?
They'll have them crowned national champions by the time you get to that game.
And I don't think Brian Kelly's it, but I'm sure as a Notre Dame fan, you probably agree with that statement.
Yep, I can.
Saw someone, man, they were just giving him a big old-fashioned tongue bath. And I could not believe that they forgot like how bad his teams have been. Once again, sometimes they pay attention to the stickers on the helmet and not who's actually putting the damn pads on. What is your second pick?
My second pick, I have got Auburn and Oklahoma at 3:30 ABC. I'm taking the under in this game. Auburn's got a great run game. Oklahoma's got a great defense. I think it's going to be a bloody rock fight all day long.
And the over-under, for people who are wondering.
It's 47.5.
Yeah, 47.5. I don't know if you're waiting for a drum roll or something. Like, what is he doing to me, man? I think do I have it? 47.5. Okay. My next game, I guess because we have to speed this up a little bit, I am going to take your Michigan State game, 18.5. I had it jotted down yesterday at 17.5. I will gladly take an extra point on that 18.5 Michigan State. Man, I think USC probably gets the win, but 18.5, that is a lot of points for a USC team that never can play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of my favorite picks of the day. What is your next pick?
Well, the Illinois, Indiana still give me the plus 6.5 points with Illinois.
I'm a little surprised at that. They're getting disrespected quite a bit. Illinois?
Yeah, they are.
Because when they went into Duke, it was like a pick 'em. I didn't understand that either.
No.
Like Duke's an okay team, but Illinois preseason was top 15, etc. Illinois, I honestly think because it's in Indiana should be a slight favorite. But if I was setting this line, I'd have like at a 1.5, maybe 2.5, 3 at the very most. 6.5. That's a lot of points to be giving up in a game that's probably going to come down to a field goal. My next
thing about that game too, real quick. I was just going to say with Indiana's finally facing somebody that's almost their equal. They've been in 3 games against nobodies, and they even had trouble beating Old Dominion in week 2, I believe. So,
hey, tell you what, though, man, don't slip on Old Dominion. Old Dominion beat the brakes off of Virginia Tech.
I know. I was just surprised Indiana's supposed to be this great school, and they had trouble with them. And they're picked, and finally they've actually got a team that's they're equal. That's why I got big reason why. One of the big reasons I got Illinois winning.
What time is that game?
That's 7:30 NBC.
Okay. Knew it was a night game for some reason. I had it in my head it was like an oddball kickoff, but no, it's okay. It's the NBC Peacock game. Yeah, that's it's weird. It's weird. Like you said, Indiana hasn't really been challenged. Illinois has to a degree. My guess is that it's the betting market still remembering Indiana in the playoffs last year.
Right.
And Illinois did not make it. But here's the other weird thing. The voters have realized it. Illinois is ranked number 9 in the country in the AP. Yeah. Indiana is 19. What the hell is that? It's so odd.
Very odd.
All right, my next pick. I'm going to go with the SEC. Believe this is a night game. I've got South Carolina against Missouri. We talked about it a little while ago, and I'll find it real quick. South Carolina. It is. It's an ESPN game. That's a little surprising. South Carolina, Missouri. South Carolina is now getting 10.5 points. There's just no way in hell I can walk off of that. Missouri, though, I think they're a good team. Remember, this used to be a divisional game very recently before they got rid of the divisions. This is a bit of a rivalry, and you're giving me 10.5 points. Give me South Carolina all day long. What's your next?
The next one, Michigan, Nebraska, 3:30 on CBS. Give me the under in this game at 47.5. you got Michigan's defense. Nebraska's a much improved team. Good run game, halfway defense. But this is another one that's going to be a bloody rock fight too. Both sides are just going to pound it down each other's throat, and whoever flinches first loses.
Over under 47.5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that as on my list, but I'll definitely be jumping on that one. That's they are getting good weather in Nebraska, but should that matter? I mean, neither one of these teams want to throw the ball forward. My next pick, this one I'm going out on a limb, and it's really not to the point of me thinking this is a good team. It's really me doubting the other team. This is we're going back to the Big 12, and it is a late kickoff. Okay. Wyoming is at Colorado. Colorado is giving up 2 touchdowns. Give me Wyoming. What the hell? Colorado? They're not a good football team. Also, here's the other kicker. When the over-under is 44.5, meaning they don't expect a lot of points to be scored, but you're going to give up 2 touchdowns, give me that all day long, because I've got a decent chance of it being a low-scoring game across the board. Because unless you're going to tell me that Colorado is going to win this thing 35-0, if you go the other way, you're going to be sweating it all game long.
Mm-hmm.
So give me Wyoming and the 2 touchdowns. What's your next one?
My next one was, it was my underdog pick that I still got Michigan State to cover the spread. I feel strongly about that. Michigan State, people have been sleeping on them all season. And USC, even though they've improved their defense, not that much.
Now to be fair, because you dragged Indiana over the coals, Michigan State hasn't played anybody either, so we don't really
fair enough.
But I do agree with you in the fact that, I mean, they play Western Michigan, a Boston College team that is not that good, and Youngstown State. So they have not been. This is going to be their first test, and unfortunately for Michigan State fans, it comes on the road. Man, listen to this. They got to go to Nebraska next week. Holy cow!
Yeah,
it's either next week or the week before. They don't have the dates on here for whatever damn reason. All they have is at Nebraska, but that's going to be an interesting 2 games for Michigan State, because if they somehow come out the other side undefeated, they're going to be in the top 15 of the country. My next pick is going to be, you talked about the Auburn-Oklahoma game, and I did not know I had that down. That is going to be my number 5th pick. It's going to be Auburn-Oklahoma. I'm taking the under as well. Oklahoma's got a good defense. Auburn, I don't think is going to be able to move the ball much, and Oklahoma will play conservatively enough to where it's probably not going to be any kind of a blowout. So give me the under in that as well. What is your final pick of the day, sir?
I'm going to go with this. I got Florida covering that 9.5. I got to grab that 9.5. Just solely on fact, I know everybody, Florida's bad. I don't think they're that bad. They're offensively bad. But that defense is a good defense. And I think they're going to give Miami at least a challenge. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm just saying I believe it's going to – I see Miami winning by a touchdown, not 9.5, not 10. But then again, you've got that goofy quarterback in Florida. If he throws 5 or 6 interceptions, I'm all wet.
I don't know what that means, but it sounded dirty, Doug. We'll move on from that. The only thing that concerns me about it is because of last year. Miami went in and spanked the hell out of the Gators in the Swamp. If anyone remembers that game, 41-17. That was a game where everybody was hyped up for it. and thought it was going to be a good game. Hell, I thought Ford had a decent chance of winning that game. I don't recall the spread on it, and I don't see it on the page that I'm on right now. But they that was never a game. But that was also Cam Ward, and that was a really good offensive lineman. John's laughing about your comment, Doug. I'm all wet. I don't want to peel back that disgusting onion. But yeah, so I'm with you. If you would have told me you're giving me 9.5 points at the beginning of the season, I go, what are you, nuts? But I'm a little worried about Lagaway. Lagaway is kind of a bozo, and everybody wants to blame the head coach. I'm telling you, this kid sucks. Everybody was, man, they were, what was the kid's name that they kept wanting to bench for him? The kid that transferred down from Wisconsin. I'm drawing a blank right now, but Graham Hurts. Graham was a good, solid college football quarterback. They saw Lagaway, and what they saw was that from time to time he would come in certain spots in games, as usually against a nobody, and he would light up the scoreboard. But this year, man, that dude's seeing ghosts. I don't know what is going on with him. He is, and Miami's got a good defense. So it's going to be an interesting game. I still like the over in the game because I think one way or the other we're going to get points. It might be pick sixes, but we're going to get points. My last pick is the Florida State-Kent State game. That is a 3:30 kickoff. Give me Florida State in the first half to cover the 27.5 point spread. They took a week off. They just went bonkers against was it East Texas State? And I know that's not a big name. I get that. But they scored 77, and they could have, and they easily could have scored 100 if they wanted to. My concern with taking the overall spread, which is 44.5, FSU is going to have the backups in by the third quarter in all likelihood. And then I could see them giving up a couple of late scores and a backdoor cover. So I don't want anything to do with that. Give me the first half spread. What is your lock of the week?
Lock of the week. This year's Apple Bowl. Nobody cares. Give me Washington. Because Washington State's got to be probably the worst team in college football as far as I'm concerned. Give me Washington to cover 20.5.
The good old
7:30 CBS game, by the way.
It is a CBS? Wow.
I think so.
CBS Paramount Plus.
Or Paramount, yeah.
You might get that on your local CBS. It probably depends on where you're at. But you know what it is? CBS doesn't have rights to the SEC anymore. Mm-hmm. They don't have rights to any of the big four. So they're just out there throwing darts, going, Apple Cup, give it to us. All right. Yeah. Washington State, man, I'll tell you what, they're at home too. I don't hate it. I don't think they're a good team, but that is a good rivalry. The Uncivil War is this weekend too, for people who aren't paying attention to that. Oregon State and Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I saw somebody, what is her name? Stormy something. She's normally a sideline reporter, but she hosts a Picks Against the Spread on a VSiN. I forget the name of her show, but she sits around and talks college and NFL lines. And there's some dope that she's on there with, and I think they think he's needed. I think she's much better than him. But anyways, not the point of the story. She was trying to convince everybody to take Oregon State plus 34.5.
That depends on Oregon's mood.
Man, but I can't do it. I'm like, Oregon State is horrific. They lost to Texas Tech 45-14. They lost to Cal 34-15. They lost by 9 to Fresno State, which is not one of the better Fresno State teams. I can't even come close to that. But it was interesting, man. I tell you what, she was banging the drum. The biggest concern I have with Doug's Washington State pick, did you see what Washington State did last week, Doug? They lost at North Texas 59-10.
I know. I actually looked. I actually watched some of that game just so I could say I saw it. And then I had to turn it off.
That's not something to brag about.
No, that's what I'm saying. And then I had to turn it off.
You know what? I'm gonna tell everybody I watched that game. Let me get a Lou over here at this game. Make sure you get a t-shirt of that there, buddy. All right. My lock of the week. This game. Look, I think this team is going to come out motivated after this past week. I think this team is going to look at this as a chance to get right situation. They're going to be playing at home against a conference rival. It is a 12 noon kickoff. So it's also a bit of a chance of some jet lag for a college kid. Not jet lag because they're going across the country, jet lag because, good Lord, it's noon. I'm usually waking up from a kegger at noon on Saturday. Syracuse is at Clemson. But it's not the line I like, it's the overall score. So Syracuse is coming into this game 16.5-point underdogs. And I do think Clemson probably covers that. Because if they get a chance to run the score up on, I'm telling you, this is not a good Syracuse team. They're going to do it. Tennessee had their way with Syracuse. But it's the total points scored by the Orangemen. The number is 20.5. They're going to have to score 3 touchdowns. I don't see that Syracuse offense being able to do it. Now, maybe it turns into a blowout and Clemson puts all their backups in and they do a backdoor cover. It could happen. But give me my lock of the week. I like Syracuse under the 20.5. By the way, I don't remember if I ever gave my lock yesterday. I had it written down, but I don't remember talking about it. For those of y'all who know, I've been through some stuff the last few days. I'm taking Dak Prescott over 1.5 touchdown passes this weekend in Chicago. That's my lock. So I'm trying to get Bobby to send me his, but if not, I'll jot it down. But did he answer me? Packers -7.5 versus the Saints. So there's Bobby's pick. All right, Doug, we're coming down to it. What is your cool game of the weekend?
My cool game is that, believe it or not, is that Michigan-Nebraska game. Just because they just remind me of that game used to mean something a long time ago when I was a kid, and now you got two teams. I think they're on equal par. It's just gonna be an old-fashioned shootout like they used to play.
Do you know what I mean when I say cool?
Yes, but never mind. My cool is older cool.
Yeah. Oh man, older cool is not cool, Doug. Doug comes walking in with bell bottoms and you remember those damn shoes at the damn pimps in the 70s, the lifts?
Yeah, the platforms.
Yeah, platforms. Yeah, sorry. I don't remember if it was a sitcom or what it was, but I remember someone at some point came in jokingly with platforms, and they had an aquarium inside them.
Yeah, that was an Austin Powers movie.
Oh, was it? Okay. That's what I'm envisioning Doug walking into the bar. Let's do the cool game. Get the hell out of here. We're not putting that on. I'm going to go with Auburn, Oklahoma. That's probably the lowest of hanging fruit. I know it's an easy one to pick as being a cool game. Look, you got two teams that are undefeated in the SEC. It's in Oklahoma. Oklahoma's up to number 11 in the country for those who haven't been paying attention to that. I talked about Oklahoma beginning of the year or during the offseason. I thought they were one of the more underrated teams. Do I think this team's going to win the national championship? Absolutely not. But Auburn's got to go on the road. And it's a tough environment there in Oklahoma. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out if Auburn is actually starting to come back or if this was just a flash in the pan.
Yep.
And regardless of the outcome, I think it's the biggest game of the weekend. But I don't hate the Michigan-Nebraska game. I'll probably be trying to keep an eye on it. What should be the cool game of the weekend is not Florida-Miami. And I'm happy that they're playing because they don't play each other hardly ever. They played last year and this year, but then when I grew up as a kid in the state of Florida, we all played each other. It was Florida State versus Miami. The season always started off, Florida and Miami was the first or second weekend of the season. Then Miami and Florida State would play in the middle, and Florida State and Florida would play at the end.
Yep.
That's no longer the case. And football is better when those three teams are playing well and playing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But Florida's going to have to show some kind of a pulse if they even want to look. If they pull off the upset, Billy Ball's back, baby. Everyone's going to be beating the drum. But if he gets ran out of there, I don't think they would fire him that early. But for those who have not looked at the Gator schedule, it's just beginning. They've got to play Texas. I think they get a week off. For whatever reason, they're not putting the damn dates on these things. ESPN used to always put the dates on them. They're hit or miss with these. But they played Texas after the Miami game. I'm pretty sure that's October 4th. Then they're at Texas A&M. They still have to play Georgia. They have to play at Ole Miss. They've got to play Tennessee and Florida State. That is a brutal lineup. Florida State went 2-10 this year. If they don't get off the mat and win this weekend, Florida could be flirting with that. I don't think they'll be as low as 2 wins. Florida State had no fight and then nothing in them last year. But I can see Florida sitting around the 4-win spot. So they better win this game because if not, Billy B is going to be refreshing that resume, and I don't think he gets past. We'll say he probably gets fired after the Texas A&M game.
Yeah,
because
especially if Texas A&M humiliates them.
Yeah, but what he better worry about is if Miami humiliates him.
Yeah,
Mario Cristobal is a born and bred Miami Hurricane. He wants to embarrass the Gators.
Yeah.
He'll be calling timeouts to kick field goals at the end of the game up by 40. That's the kind of embarrassment he wants to do.
Uh-huh.
And immediately he'll be on the phone trying to recruit whoever Florida had at the top of their list. Guarantee it. All right, bud, what is your one big thing and your walk-off?
One big thing is Notre Dame plays Purdue this week. Notre Dame better stomp the snot out of them and every single team. Anything less than like a 60 burger slowly start to diminish your chances of making it to the invite to the national game. They have to do it every single week now. They have to put up 60-plus points against inferior opponents. They're in the soft belly of their schedule. They better look like bullies out there every stinking game.
I don't know how you're going to get in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it starts with Purdue. They better stomp the chicken out of that Purdue today.
You lose at home to Texas A&M. You lose at Miami. Those could be two teams that come down to it. They could be at larges, right?
Mm-hmm. Look, you could if let's say even Notre Dame ran the rest of the table and they're 10-2 because of who they've lost to. I could see teams that had 3 losses, like SEC teams that have lost 3 games, get picked before they do. So,
oh, absolutely. You might see a 4-team.
Mm-hmm.
The only games they have left of note, and this isn't really of note, but these are their toughest games left. Next weekend, they're at Arkansas, but I mean, that's not a feather in your cap. And in middle of October, they play USC.
Yeah.
USC's currently ranked, but I don't think they'll be ranked by the time they get there. So you got to become big USC fans, Notre Dame, because you need them to be ranked as high as possible. So if you get that win, you can go, look what we did.
Yep.
Because the rest of the schedule sucks.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Stanford, Syracuse. This is one of the turns in the ACC where when they're playing the ACC games, even though they're not in the ACC, they're not playing any of the big names. So it really hurts them. My one big thing is we walk this thing off. That the game that we were talking about much earlier. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the one that's being played tonight. I've changed my mind. Iowa is at Rutgers. It's a Fox game. It's 8:00 Fox game.
Yeah.
If Iowa does not win that game, they're going to be in for a long, long year. Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite. It's a 45.5 over under. Iowa's going to want to slow it down. It's at Rutgers. Rutgers is 3-0, but Rutgers has played Miami of Ohio, Norfolk State, and Ohio. So they haven't been tested. The one big thing to me is Iowa, if they lose, they're done. They'll be 2-2. No shot at the playoffs. If they win, you look at Iowa's schedule going forward. They've got some very winnable games, but the next big game they have is at home against Indiana, and that's not nothing. So they need the momentum tonight to roll over. This is kind of a dud of a weekend for college football. There's not a lot of big matchups, but the biggest of things that's going to happen this weekend is that Miami-Florida game, because if Billy B does not win, it's going to be a problem. Y'all have a good one. We got a jam.
All right.
Thank you, Doug.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's closing time, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Have a great one. On your way out, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to tip your favorite bartender. We'll see you. I'm Magee, signing off for Braves Country Radio.